Updated review. Hey everyone, Super Saiyan Sanchez back here with another video. Today bringing you guys an updated review of the bootleg Mexican Oozaru. Let's go ahead and check them out. And this is a 360 of the bootleg Oozaru. Sadly, he doesn't come with a box. He doesn't even come with accessories, which kind of sucks. But he is a bootleg figure. And to me, I think his size speaks volumes. Like, he's pretty big. He's pretty hefty. His arms feel pretty heavy. His tail is as well. But I think next to some figures, some Saiyan Saga figures, some Dragon Ball Z figures, you could see the comparison. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at them. Oh, we're back. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the face. You guys can see it. This is pretty much ripped straight out of the anime. I love the detail in the face, especially for a bootleg figure. And I like that his eyes do light up, which is another plus. He does have his, he does roar. Of course, you guys can see the little cut here. I'll show you guys that in a second. And he does open his mouth. He can't open it all the way. He does have a lot more, the mouth opening up like the Great Oozaru. The mouth on that one doesn't open as wide as this one does. And I like that they added the detail inside, the tongue, the teeth. He looks like he's been fighting, honestly. And this is how the figure came. I'm not really sure if it was supposed to look like this or if this is added detail from the person who owned it before me. And there's a lot of detail here on the hair. Let's go ahead and back out the camera. There's a lot of detail in the hair. He does have some paint scuffs from the previous owner. I never really decided to clean anything up. I just kind of left it the way it was inside of the display case. And I just want to show you guys how he looks. This is a tail, does have a 360 rotation. Can move right here as well, which is pretty cool. And just the detail in the hair, to me, that's the good part. That's what made me attracted to the figure. I felt like he's pretty cool for a display piece and something people will talk about, honestly. All right. And one obvious thing that you can see in the figure is definitely this big old gap in his chest. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. This is where his voice box is. It's pretty cool that it does, you know, he does light up and he does make noise. It just sucks that it's noticeable. You can kind of tuck it away. You gotta mess around with it. I've done it before. In the display case, you can hardly see it, but you know, you can see the exposed speaker in there, but it's still pretty cool. Let me go ahead and show you guys it lighting up. And he can lift up his arms. Go ahead and do the articulation. He can lift up his arms, which is pretty cool. They can do a full 360, which is something in itself. I didn't expect that. He does have rotation on his wrist, not too much though. Just put the arm down. He can bend his elbow, which is pretty good. Not too crazy, not as far as you want to. Like I said, he can't open his mouth. There is no crunch, no ab crunch. He can rotate the bottom of his foot in a full 360. And we're gonna take a closer look behind his face. I wanna show you guys, just in case you guys plan on grabbing this guy. You can remove the face, which is pretty normal. I've done it by accident. It was pretty crazy. This is that, and he also had you can remove his face as well. Shows you what you guys can do right here. It has the light ups, everything's connected there. Just pop it back in. Nothing too crazy, and it does have the little peg holes. It does have the peg holes. You can just pop it in. Nothing too much. Just showing you guys what you guys can do. And it wouldn't be a review without bringing the grade 8 Vegeta here. Side by side, you guys can see it. Make sure he doesn't fall over. And side by side, they both look great. Of course, the grade 8 stands a little bit taller because the bootleg has his knees bended, and there is no articulation in the knees here, so that kind of sucks. The grade 8 does do the whole clicking sound where he can bend. For a bootleg figure, I wish that this did do a lot more, but to me, he's more like a statement piece, like a statue, and he does light up in his eyes and he does roar. So to me, that's like the reason you probably should own this. And I'm gonna go ahead and include some of the other versions at the end of the video, or maybe during the video. There's 3 different versions. There's a gold version, the standard, and there's a brown. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that right now. And I believe that the snout is a lot different compared to the grade 8. You can see this one is a little more longer, this one isn't, and this one has the hair. But I kind of feel like the face is just kind of a mold of what it is. The rest of the body, I'm assuming they got it from maybe a statue, which is, I guess, all right. I don't really mind. I just like that he can move his arms. And I always have him posed up in the Dragon Ball saga, where in my opinion, I think he could be Goku or he could be Gohan. But as far as I know, Mexico has this figure for about $20 to $25. They go for about 100 and up, and I understand because he's a big piece. So if you have to ship him, it's gonna be expensive, definitely, because he's heavy. That's definitely why I think that if you buy him online, he's gonna be up there. I found my figure on Facebook Marketplace. I'd say type in Dragon Ball if you're looking in the search bar in your local area. You might be able to find them. You might be able to find some other stuff. I'm always looking for Figuarts online and trying to, hopefully get lucky with a good deal. And I thought I'd go ahead and bring in some small little minifigures here so we can kind of see the comparison of the height. So I am bringing in Dende next to this guy. I think he's actually a great comparison height-wise. He's up there. Oh, I also did forget to mention that the head does move a little bit. It goes up and down, so it's pretty cool. And we also got the Goku right here, which is another like great small figure. I'm trying to bring in some figures that are really, really small so you guys can see him next to the Oozaru. Of course, the heights aren't going to be right, but I still feel like they're pretty cool. We got Gohan, and to me, the best one so far is definitely the Daima Vegeta. He's right there next to Dende, and he's really small. So next to that, I think he looks pretty good. Yeah, and I think they stand up pretty well, like a figure like this size compared to him. I think this might be just a little more accurate, but I would say this would have to be like the 6-inch figures. This isn't this is a minifigure. I don't think they're out of height. They would have to make this guy huge, but they look great, honestly. And thought I'd bring in another figure to show you guys another height comparison. The Hulkbuster, you guys can see it right next to each other. I think the Hulkbuster might just be a little bit over the hair, so that's pretty cool. I think like I said, I think this figure is pretty big. I just hate that he can't bend the knee. His knees are bended already. He doesn't have articulation in the leg, which kind of sucks, but it's still a cool figure, like I said, to have in your collection. And after all those poses, I definitely have to say that this is a cool figure in my opinion. There's not a lot to go over here. It doesn't have accessories. It doesn't have a box. I know a lot of people like that, like to have the accessories like myself. But I feel like he's pretty cool that he lights up and that he does have some decent articulation. Nothing crazy, more the old school way. Doesn't have the 360 on some of the stuff that you want to have, but I feel like it's still a great figure. He's definitely something you want to have in your display case if you do like stuff like this. I know he could be statuesque. A lot of people don't like stuff like Purunga, Shenron. Some people don't like even just figures that don't move, that don't have as much articulation. I have to say this figure does have articulation somewhat. Not the best, but for a bootleg, you can't beat the price. 20 bucks. You can find him on eBay. Probably gonna pay about 120 to 150, but it's because of more of the weight. The figure, like I said, like you can, if you guys go straight to Mexico, you guys can find them. I hear that you can find a lot of them in Mexico City from what I've heard. So I'm in Texas, so I live next to Mexico, so definitely something I gotta go check out. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give this figure a solid 6 out of 10. He's not the best figure. He's not the worst figure. I guess his pluses are definitely, like I said, because he lights up at the eyes and he makes the noise. That's just my opinion. I think he's great. Should you own him in your collection? That's up to you. Let me know what you guys think of this figure. Leave a comment if you watched the whole video through. I appreciate the love I've been getting from everyone. Shout out to you guys.